Alabama considering charter school catering primarily to LGBT students. Lovely, the state of Birmingham and Bull Connor now considering segregating students in the name of progressivism. I'm Dr. Duke, and she is Katie, and this is The Dr. Duke Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Dr. Duke Show, that one unique program that keeps you educated on the craziness impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses around the world. Today, we're talking about a new Disney cartoon focused on witches and the summoning of demons, plus Netflix and Vox team up on a new explicit sex ed series for adults that normalizes group sex, bondage, and porn. But we start in Alabama, of all places, where an LGBT charter school has been proposed in the middle of the Bible Belt. But before we get to that, food security, food security, food security. You gotta eat, you gotta eat, you gotta eat. You need it more than gasoline. You need it more than a lot of other things that you stock up on. So to avoid this chaos, here's one thing you can do. Build yourself a modest emergency food supply, just a starter kit. I trust that the people at My Patriot Supply will be able to help you with that. A simple 2-week food kit, 2 weeks of security gets you started. Then this week, you will save 40% when you visit preparewithduke.com. That's preparewithduke.com. These kits include breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They last up to 25 years, and you'll have them in about 2 days. Go to preparewithduke.com right now and save 40% on your order. It's the least you can do to guarantee there's food on the table. Again, that's preparewithduke.com. Well, it looks like the Bible Belt has been circumvented by an unchastity belt, if we may. There is a proposed LGBTQXYZ charter school that may be opening in the very deep red state of Alabama. How you feel about that, Katie?
There's just too many letters I got lost and confused, much like these people. So there's a proposal. There's actually, this was announced way back in April, but it was just presented to the Birmingham School Board last week. Here's the name, Magic City Acceptance Academy, MCAA. They want to be open to, it would be a LGBT-focused charter school. They'd be the first one in the state, and they would serve 6th to 12th grade, and they say it's open to everyone. And that there would be 250 students, and again, they announced it back in April, and they've been planning all along. In August, they actually already hired a principal for this school who's coming from the public school system and has been a principal at a couple other Birmingham schools. And what's the kicker of this is that Karen Musgrove, who's the executive director of the Birmingham AIDS Outreach, BAO. This is a project of the BAO. She says the Magic City Acceptance Academy will be an extension of the Magic City Acceptance Center and will provide an affirming learning environment for LGBTQ students.
So this isn't a school. This is not a public school like most charter schools are. This is not a public school. This is not a public school taking funds to educate kids in a slightly different way along the lines of giving them a basic education. This is a school that is dedicated to a worldview, right? In a sense, and I go back to what my opening comment was, this is the state of segregation. This is the state of Bull Connor and fire hoses. Now what you're doing in Alabama in the name of progressivism, in that state, you are resegregating schools. You are creating schools that will indeed be funded by taxpayer money, that will go to service certain kinds of kids at the expense of others. And while you say indeed all kids are welcome, you've just made it clear that the entire focus and ethos, the entire raison d'etre of this school is political and activist with regards to the lives, the values, and the worldview of LGBT persons.
And it shows so much on the Magic City Acceptance Center's website, which that would be then part of the school itself. The website says LGBTQ youth peer groups. They have these youth peer groups, and there's a bunch of them listed. And for being youth, they are using ages 13 to 24. That's actually some adults in there, but apparently to them, that's the youth. One of the groups is called the QTPOC, the Queer and Trans People of Color. It's Talk is a peer-led group openly only to LGBTQ people of color. Straight, cis allies, and non-POC are asked to step back from this space. So I thought it was open to everyone.
It's not really welcoming, is it?
It's not very welcoming.
See, here's how we welcome non-LGBTQ people. We welcome you to participate, but only if you don't. You're welcome to participate because we're going to ask you to participate, and your participate means not participating for the good of the participating LGBTQ people, right? That's pretty much the argument. See how that works?
Participate.
Dave Chappelle, wiser than we know when he referred to this as the alphabet people, right?
Exactly.
I'll tell you, you ask yourself a serious question about this. And now we know, how many shows have we done, Katie, that have demonstrated with proof, with stories, with all sorts of journalism, that much of what the kids are getting in the public schools is nonstop LGBT revisionism, right? How many curriculums in places like California and Massachusetts, New Jersey now is considering a complete LGBTQ curriculum for the public schools? Public schools have been taken over by alternative sexuality pedagogy. And so now we're going to set up, because that's not enough, we're going to go ahead and set up a charter school that just does the same thing, only to the kids who already believe that way.
And on top of it, this acceptance center that they have, that all these kids are already going to, they have adult groups too that are ages 25 and plus, and they have specific groups that are 40 and plus, and they are meeting at the Birmingham AIDS outreach for some of these groups. And when you look at their website, they already do the drag queen story hours for the kids, so you know that's already going to be incorporated. That'll be reading hour every day, probably have a drag queen come in. This academy is just an extension, again, of this BAO. And the mission of the BAO is to enhance the quality of life for people living with HIV/AIDS, at-risk, affected individuals, and the LGBT community through outreach, age-appropriate prevention education, you know what they're going to be getting in health class, and supportive services.
My prediction, within 3 years, to wind this segment down, you will have Planned Parenthood charter schools, where the entire kids' education is given over to Planned Parenthood and to all the ideologies that serve, promote, and expand upon it. That's within 3 years. You look for it.
Well, it won't even take 3 years, because education with our children is already happening in every facet of life, including what they're watching on TV. And nowadays, TV is more like looking at online streaming services. So we have a story coming up about Netflix and Vox and how they're teaming up. But first, let's go to the beloved Disney. I grew up on Disney, but now they're having cartoons that are actually teaching our kids how to summon demons and how to become witches. This is actually happening. The new show that they have coming up, you can take a look at the trailer.
The Owl House is where I live with
the King of Demons!
Look at that cutie pie.
I am not your cutie pie!
Yes, you are.
I know.
And Ida, the Owl Lady.
The most powerful witch on the Boiling Isles!
Wait, I better let her say it.
The most powerful witch on the Boiling Isles!
She's fierce. She's fearless.
Oh no, please stop.
And someday, I'm going to be just like her.
Yeah, and so last week we had a story on a little kid's book aimed at just beginning toddlers, kids just beginning to learn how to read, which teaches them how to summon demons, right? Teaches them if they're having a bad day or it's raining and they want to play baseball, or mom and dad are being difficult, or the classmates, you can summon your own demon to sort of put them in place. And now you have this. And so, yeah, I get it. I mean, I think what we've done is we've really crossed every frontier. We have sexualized kids, we have Marxified kids, we have global warming kids into traumatic nightmares. The last frontier for the progressives when it comes to dismantling Western culture is to go back into Christianity itself, go back into traditional religion, which we have ignored and demonized, and now then turn the demons into heroes. Now that we have completely controlled the kids' minds, we have completely hijacked the kids' public schools with our secular anti-religious worldview, let's go back into Christianity and let's make the demons the heroes. All right, well, so when Jesus, how long before we have a cartoon that makes the point that when Jesus was driving demons out of poor, possessed victims, he was actually engaging in Donald Trump's border wall. He was putting demons in cages. He was denying demons refugee status. How long are we before, because that's what this is, right? They have completely surrounded traditional forms of education. So now they've rolled up their sleeves. They've got these kids. They get them at young ages. They've already cleared away, bulldozed from their minds parental responsibility. They've already cut parents off from all of this. They've already filled the curriculum with secular and in some ways shockingly anti-humanistic kinds of learning. And now you go back and you mainstream.
And you see just from that little part of the trailer, it's not the whole trailer, but from just that little part, they are focusing so much on this rebellious witch, Ida, and how she's fierce and she's fearless. And that's supposed to be inspiring to the little girl. And the little girl already has bought into that she wants to be the apprentice. She wants to be this. But what does that even mean? And that obviously we know that's the left's agenda, is to make it so all women are fierce and fearless, although they never define what that means.
Well, what makes Edda, the owl lady, what makes her so appealing to the young girl is that she's fierce for what? She's fierce to defend the rights of witches. She's fierce, right? Someone's persecuting her. And that's, 4,000 years of world culture, right, that has not understood her. And notice how quickly we've already, but are we surprised? They did it with vampires, right? Last I checked, throughout all mythologies, vampires were servants of the devil who stole your soul from you in return for a kind of immortality in this world that was itself a kind of hell. That's been transformed into Edward and Jacob in the Twilight series wearing skinny jeans.
Glitter.
Yeah, so everything that was traditionally seen as evil is now made normal and mainstream, which means evil has to be the remaining Christians.
Absolutely.
The only thing that the LGBTQ and the drag queens and the demon worshippers and the Wiccans, the only one thing they have in common is they can all agree that Christianity is nothing more than a bigoted, persecuting religion, and there you have it.
Well, and in their perspective, if you watch the whole trailer, at the end they say, if you look at it from a different perspective, it looks just like home. That's where we are.
Sure.
Well, we also have a new show that is happening, and this one actually is aimed for adults, and it's streaming on Netflix. They teamed up with Vox for an explicit sex education series. So when you put Netflix and Vox together, this is what you get. It's called Sex Explained. It's a docuseries, they claim, intended for mature audiences. They say, from the biology of attraction to the history of birth control, explore the ins and outs of sex in this entertaining and enlightening series.
See what they did with ins and outs? You see that?
I see that.
Yeah.
I do. Yes, they have episodes that are about sexual fantasies, about attraction, about birth control, fertility, and childbirth.
Though we might think our fantasies are super weird,
most people are fantasizing about the same things.
I love leather.
in the moment of attraction, your brain floods you with hormones.
How do I know if I'm attracted to someone?
It should just be visceral and you should know it.
The average man today has half the sperm his grandfather did.
Male infertility around the globe is a hidden reproductive health problem.
The mood swings have been bad. The nausea has been bad.
It's been over 60 years since we invented hormonal birth control. Shouldn't it be better by now? The cervix is an engineering miracle.
I don't know of any other engineered material that can remodel itself that quickly.
What part of the mystery of life is still unsolved?
Still trying to figure it out.
I'll tell you what part of the mystery of life is still unsolved. How can you gush about the almost godlike capacities of the uterus and then absolutely champion the rendering apart of the babies that grow there? How do you? That's the part of the story that gets me, right? And we wonder why men's sperm count is down, right?
And that's the part I was like, of course.
Right. I mean, why is that? I mean, in the era of the pajama boy, why is that true? In an era where, by definition, the less sperm a man produces, the better, right? Because again, what you look at that teaser there, the entire premise of this was all chemical and hormonal,
visceral,
and anatomical and visceral. None of this has anything to do with commitment or trust or communication or love or understanding. It's really just Hustler magazine for the hip, woke Obama types who watch Netflix, right? I'm surprised they teamed up with Vox, right? Radical left-wing dingbats. So you got Netflix, you got Vox. Why not just have Michelle Obama narrate this? You already got her under contract, right?
Well, they already have.
Especially if you want to make a case for androgyny.
They have someone else who. They have someone else who is super woke, Janelle Monáe, who's an actress who actually just this week decided to come out as non-binary. So they do have someone who's woke.
You wonder if she would have gotten the job if she hadn't, right? I mean, notice how everybody has a coming out now, right? I think this is radical leftist idiots who are jealous that gay people have coming outs now, right?
Maybe.
So now you've created, with all this gender confusion, a chance for everybody to come out. Wait. I'd like to announce to America that I'm having a coming out moment. I would like to formally announce that I am more a man than I was 5 minutes ago. I am coming out as more committed to my masculine identity. I demand a party. I demand recognition. I demand an alphabet letter named after me. I have reaffirmed before all of America, I've come out of the closet of lesser masculinity to assert a higher level of manhood. And if you could see beneath this table, you'd know what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen.
I would just like to say I support you in your coming out. That was very brave of you to announce that to the public, and I still don't want to look under that table.
I accept your support, but I recognize that it's mediated by your inability to understand my hypermasculinity. Your femininity has caused you to become a bigot to hypermasculinization, but I will accept your thanks and your congratulations with the recognition that you cannot fully understand what it's mean to be me.
Well, I will look deep down inside myself and try to understand you better. I apologize. It is my fault. It's not right of me to step on your coming out.
The way you reach toward me with your hand has me very concerned. I feel frightened.
And that will wrap up this Hump Day episode. If you'd like to support this program, please consider joining our Patriot Club for $25 a month. Visit drdukeshow.com to get started.
And I'd like to thank my Patriot Supply for reaffirming my masculinity by providing me with ready-made meals for emergencies, for sponsoring also today's show. If you have a business, large or small, we would love to partner with you. Visit freedomproject.com/advertise and learn more. freedomproject.com/advertise. For Freedom Project, I'm Dr. Duke. She's Katie. And until next time, stay masculine, my friends.